What is up, everybody? Jordan here with the Deck Box, coming back to you with another deck profile. I know it's been a while. I actually took this past week off, during Collinsville Regional. It's local to where I'm at, so I was doing just a lot of testing. Had Aaron Trainer in town staying with me, so I wanted to kind of spend some time hanging out with him, showing him the city a little bit. So didn't do too much recording. So now what I'm going to be doing is actually showing you the list that I took to Collinsville and just explain how my day went. I will say this, it did not go as well as I had hoped. Aaron and I actually both took the same list. I think he tweaked about 3 or 4 cards, something like that. So very, very close list. Our thought process going into the weekend, or rather my thought process that I kind of pushed in his direction, is right now you have 2 things going on in the meta. You have one, a ton of Zoroark, which of course is weak to fighting. So we figured, something that can hit decent numbers against Zoroark would be decent, and it also does well against some other Pokemon that it doesn't necessarily hit weakness for, but you've got a lot of evolution decks that their basics have 60 HP, so you strap on a strong energy and a Fury Belt, this guy one-shots them and gets to snipe the bench. So that was kind of our thought process going into this. The second part is that a lot of decks run abilities. So with that being said, we figured let's shut their abilities off. That's one of the strongest things that Pokemon has right now, is shutting down abilities, which is why we played Garbotox and Garbodor. We actually played a split of the Garbodors. And so we figured we'd pair those together, strong hitting Pokemon that has no ability, paired with something that shuts down abilities, and we figured we'd have a decent deck to go pretty far this weekend. And things just didn't pan out, to be honest with you. The entire weekend, I personally did not play against any Zoroark decks, not one, where the meta is showing 35 to 50%, just a ton of Zoroark everywhere. I didn't see a single one of them. In fact, I don't think Aaron saw any either. Then from there, the only evolution deck I saw that Buzzwell should be able to do decent against was Greninja. And first round, donked him pretty fast. Actually, my second turn donked him, or benched him, I guess. And so we got into game 2. It was a pretty close one, but he got me. Third game, I had him. I was so close, and I made the mistake of pulling a Buzzwell back to keep it from being 2-shot. Whereas I didn't realize I could have 2-shot his Froakie to take my last prize on the bench. I just wasn't even thinking. And this was first round already, so my brain was already fried. And he actually managed to still Guzma, bring up Buzzwell, and 2-shot me anyway, which took the game for him. So it was a really dumb mistake on my part to do that. And I messed around too much with that match. And then I played another Greninja later. It actually went all the way to time, all the way through to the 0, 1, 2, 3 turns. And I had 1 prize left. He had 3 or 4, and he was the final turn, and he couldn't do what he needed to do. He said, "You know what? A tie is not going to help either one of us at this point, so you can have the win." So I got the win on that one. It shouldn't have been that close, to be honest with you. I mean, I shut down abilities. It should have been a lot better. It should have been. I guess I didn't test that matchup well enough to see what all I needed to do to make it happen a little bit faster. There are a lot of things I would tweak about the deck, and we'll talk about those once we get into it. So those were 2 of the matchups there. I ended up going a total of 7 rounds. Did the 3-4 drop thing. It just did not go well. Let's see. I played against 3 Ho-Oh Volk or Ho-Oh Turtonator decks. 3 of those. And that was one that we actually didn't test because we were just like, there is Dust Mane, so it makes sense that Fire would do well, but other than that, it doesn't do the best against everything else. At least that was our thought process. So we didn't test it too much, and Aaron had even asked me, how do I play this? And I was like, it might be a tough match, but you really just have to try to shut them down fast and just poke away and take those big knockouts with the GX and stuff, and you should be fine. That didn't end up working. I lost 2 of those matches, 1-1, and really it was mainly because my opponent made a huge misplay, which actually has happened a couple times, particularly with these fire decks where they didn't see my Fury Belt was on my Buzzwall. So he'd steamed up once, and then he sycamored, and I'm sitting there waiting for him to get the other energy, and he was able to steam, or he was able to steam up, sorry, but he didn't. He announced his attack, he said for knockout, and I was like, actually no, I have the Fury Belt. He was like 20 shy of knocking me out, and so he was really beating himself up over that, and we both agreed that that was the point where he just lost that game. There was no getting out of it. It gave me the chance to come back and beat him. So won 1 of 3 of those, and one of them was close, the other one not close at all. He just smoked me. So it was that. So there was 3, 2 Greninja. I did face off against Duskmane, and that was a very, very easy match to get things set up. All of my rounds except for one went the full 3 games. We got to the 3rd game. It was never there was only one where it was a 2-0 shutout, and that was one of the Ho-Oh decks. But Duskmane was really, really easy for me. 2nd game was just a dead draw situation where I didn't get anything. But 1st and 3rd was no problem at all. Then the other match that I had excuse me, was against a Vika Bulu deck, and I was actually pretty happy because I was like, okay, I can shut down its abilities. If I do that quick enough, it'll slow him down. I'll be able to, take some knockouts and get ahead. And that's how it worked the first match. I was winning. Actually, no, this one I think it was a 2-0. So I was incorrect earlier. I think this was a 2-0. But I was winning with just 2 prizes left. He still had 6. And he got his field blower, and he just went off after he got his field blower and just wiped my board clean. So the main things that I would change about this list, I honestly probably wouldn't have Zygarde. I didn't see enough Psychic to warrant it. Plus we have Garbodor to counter that. So it didn't warrant it personally. But if we did leave it in, it would only be because we'd cut Trash Lanch. We actually considered just doing a 3-3 Garbotox and no Trash Lanch, leave the rest of the Pokemon lines the same, and then actually add elixirs, because that was the main thing that hurt us with these big basic decks, is we were not able to outspeed them, and that was something that we did not take into consideration. It was something I did mention to one of my friends. He's like, oh no, this type of deck just doesn't run those, and he's right. Whenever you're using Rainbow and Strongs, it wouldn't run that. But if we would have cut the Rainbows, boosted the fighting energy probably to about 10, and then we could have still left some strong energy in there and cut the Garbodor, the Trash Lanch Garbodor, excuse me, we could have included elixirs, and I think it would have done much better. That's not to say that our matchups still wouldn't have been the same. Who knows what could have happened. It seems like, at least for the fire matches that came down to matchups, like they got turn 1 or turn 2 Kiawe, we were kind of toast. And that's why I think elixirs would have made a huge difference, to be able to set up multiple Pokemon at a time. But not being able to set up multiple Pokemon at a time really, really hurt this deck. So that would be something I'd change. One thing I did learn, though, that I think we all expected going into this weekend, is that Cynthia is busted. I mean, she is such a good card. It was great to have the option between an N or Cynthia. If I didn't want to help my opponent and boost their hand, it just gives you that option. Same thing with a Sycamore. I could use my Sycamore if I had an empty hand, but if I had things I wanted to hold on to, I would use a Cynthia. So it was really, really solid. I really enjoyed playing with that card at a tournament. It definitely helped quite a bit. Parallel City is still super strong, and what's great is I think a lot of people don't think about paralleling themselves, shrinking their bench up to get rid of some Pokemon that may be close to being knocked out. Did that. That was more in testing. I don't think I had to do it at the tournament, but in testing I did it a couple times, and it made a big difference. It won me some matches that I should have lost. So real quick, I'm going to run you through the lines, and then we're going to grab one game on the ladder just to kind of show you how the deck works. Starting off, we have our 3 Buzzwole GX. Our focus was always getting this Jet Punch off on our first attacking turn, preferably with a strong energy and a Fury Belt, because then we're swinging for 60 and just really doing some solid damage, preferably taking an initial knockout on a small basic. So it was really nice. And then from there, if we had the opportunity, we were able to build up so we could use Knuckle Impact, or preferably use Absorption GX first and then Knuckle Impact, so you could take 4 prizes with those attacks. So it ended up being really, really good. This was our attacker for most of the time. That was the other thing. Garbodor, Trash Lance was not used a lot. People knew to play around it pretty well. And honestly, I don't even think, like, if they played around it very much, it would have made a difference. I still think Buzzwole should have been the main attacker, so definitely would have used him more in the future. Then we used Zygarde EX, as I mentioned. I think I used this guy in one match, and I think I was more experimenting real quick. Just, is this worth my time? You know, can I add some longevity to the deck by using Cell Storm? And it helped a little in that match, but not where it's worth it to include all the time. One Espeon EX. This is, of course, if we set up some Devolve plays, it would make a difference. We only really use this in one matchup. As I said, we only played 2 evolution decks for the most part. I guess you could count Dustmane as kind of an evolution support deck, and same with Buzzwole. But really, Greninja was the only evolution deck, and I only used this in one of those matchups, and really the reason was to devolve it. Because he had used Evo Soda originally to get around Po-Town, so I devolved them so that if he wanted to play them back down, it was going to do enough damage to put them in range of being knocked out if I got one more Miraculous Shine off. So that did definitely help out in that match. I would have lost otherwise, so definitely very important in the list. It wouldn't cut it for sure. It counts whenever you actually play evolution decks. 2 Tapu Lele GX. Obviously, Wonder Tag is really, really strong right now, and probably always will be. So we use that in every match pretty much. Then we had a 4-2-2 Garbodor line. So first thing to talk about, we did use the Trubbish from Breakpoint, and this actually was relevant a couple times where we used Acid Spray and we were able to get rid of an energy, kind of helped us stay alive for a little bit and brought us back into a few games, especially for those fire decks that really boost up their energy fast. It really helped. The Trash Lance Garb, you know, we all know what it does. You get to hit for more items in your opponent's discard pile, but as I said, I think we used this like once or twice the whole tournament. It was kind of in there as a, you know, oh crap, I don't have any more Buzzwole, I should use my Garbodor. That was really kind of why it was there, but in the future I would probably cut it and then just go heavier on the Garbotoxin line, which of course shuts down all abilities in play, yours included, as long as you have a Pokemon tool card attached to it. So that was important, especially against Greninja. I will say, and I know this probably sounds like a dumb thing to say or like a scrub thing to do, but I thought about it afterwards. I thought, you know what, it would have been awesome to have a Giratina. And I know it sounds dumb because you have Garbotoxin to shut down abilities, but Greninja's playing plenty of Field Bowler, and it took a little long to set up a Garbodor sometimes. So if I could just real quickly just slap down a Giratina, it means they have to knock something out in order to get the abilities down, not just play an item. And it was always, they would play the Field Blower, and it's like they had everything in their hand to just go off. So in the future, it may be something to kind of mess with, just to kind of add a second barrier to really protect myself. Next, moving into the items, Enhanced Hammer was great. I really enjoyed the card. Helped me kind of, again, just to catch up to my opponent on those times where I wasn't able to speed through things as much. It didn't help in many of the matchups. Really, it was just Greninja playing Splash Energy. I used it those couple games, but the other decks all use just basic energy. So it kind of ended up being a dead card in a lot of matches, but against Greninja, it made a difference. So definitely, I would probably look at cutting this to 1 in the future. And what I'll probably do, guys, I'll probably make a video of the deck that I should have played, which would be this one, but just tweaked in a totally different way, just to kind of look at it from a different perspective, and we can see which one will do better. Then we did play 1 Field Blower. Obviously, we don't need a bunch of Field Blowers to shut down Garbotoxin. We play our own, so it's not that big of a deal. But it is nice occasionally, if I do need to get my abilities back online, I can do that. Or I have the potential to get rid of my opponent's Field Blower, or my opponent's Fury Belts, or Choice Bands, or Float Stones, you know, just whatever it is, or Stadium, just so things can work out. Plus, you can get items in the discard that way. Then one special charge, obviously with the list running 8 special energy, we did need this pretty much every match, and it made a difference for sure, because inevitably every other deck was playing enhanced hammers as well, and they were punishing for sure. Then we have one super rod. We don't play a lot of basic energies, so having the super rod was great to get those back in there if we needed them, and you know, obviously to get our Pokemon back. It was real great to recycle Buzzwalls mainly. Then we have 4 Ultra Ball just to search out any Pokemon in our deck. Pretty straightforward. I'm pretty sure most decks run that. Then the Stadiums, the Parallel, was awesome to be able to preferably bring like a Lele or a support Pokemon to the active and then make them get rid of some of their main attackers. But you had to be careful playing this too late in the game, because a lot of times something would be weakened and really you'd just be helping your opponent to get rid of a damaged Pokemon. So I like to do it early on once they've already, like, you know, committed 1 or 2 bench spaces to Lele and only 1 other Pokemon, and, you know, just kind of leave them stuck. Then Potown was the other card. This one actually was pretty important. Like I said, it paired well with Espeon EX to help against those Greninja matchups. I would like to see it in play more against some evolution decks. Like I said, my weekend of the 7 matches I played, 5 of them were just big basic decks. So Potown wasn't super relevant in those matches, but against, you know, more of the usual meta with some evolution, it would have mattered. We did play 1 Acerola. I would have loved to bump this to 2, if I'm being honest. It was a really, really solid card whenever it was played, because as I mentioned, there were a lot of times where people were just shy of hitting that 190 mark, or even 230 with the choice band. So Acerola came in clutch in those situations, kept me alive, and won us some matches actually. So I would love to bump that to 2 in the future. And I know I'm saying I'm wanting to bump a lot of things, and that kind of leads to something else that I talked about with Aaron after the fact, or even before a little. I would love to just add puzzles to this list. There's so many things I need to recycle, and I think puzzles would be really strong. And I know typically right now people are just playing puzzles with Zoroark, but I feel like it would be really, really helpful with this list as well. Next, we did play 2 Bridget. Obviously, Bridget's there to help us just get set up, you know, and this deck did a great job. I'd say 9 times out of 10, I had Bridget in my opening hand, or Lele, and really 8 of those 9 times it was just Bridget in my hand. I didn't even need to use Lele a lot of times to get Bridget. And we couldn't figure out why that was. I mean, it only plays 2. It's not like it's a huge amount, but for some reason it just always hit. Then our draw supporters, as I mentioned before, Cynthia, we had, of course, 3 of those. She was super, super strong. I would love to have a 4th, just kind of a tight list with what we wanted to include. Then we had 3 N and 2 Sycamore. You know what those guys do. So 8 total draw supporters, and they were definitely very important, and they worked in different situations. Obviously, N was more late game. Cynthia was really good if I didn't want to help my opponent, and then Sycamore is just, you know, I have an empty hand. And there were definitely situations where I came down to an empty hand or just 1 card and it was a dead card, so I dumped it. So that little mixture there, I think, is working really well. I like the mix of having the majority be Cynthia, and then kind of trickle down to N and Sycamore. Then we have 3 Gizmo. I wanted to be able to switch in and out of Pokemon because of Buzzwall's sniping. You know, if I poke something on the bench and I want to take a really solid knockout against something, I was able to kind of Gizmo around if they tried to switch things up on me. Then for the tools, for Fury Belt, we wanted our Buzzwalls to just be super tanky. So as opposed to just being the standard 190, they were now 230, which if you know anything about the TCG right now, Guardy has 230 HP as a stage 2, so to have a basic up there with that is just really, really solid to have something so tanky so fast. And then we have 4 Floatstone. This was mainly to get Garbotoxin online, and then of course to float out Zygarde or Espeon or Lele if we didn't want them in the active. So it's definitely an important card, excuse me. And then for energy, we played 4 of the strong energy. If you don't know what this does, it adds 20 damage for your fighting Pokemon for each strong energy attached to them. So this just kind of stacks on top of itself, and you can take some huge knockouts if things work out appropriately. Then we had 4 Rainbow Energy. This is just so our Garbodor can attack, and of course it can be attached to Buzzwall as well. And if you really get desperate, you could use Lele's GX attack to heal off a bunch of damage. I never got a chance to do that. Anytime the opportunity presented itself, it wouldn't have made a difference. It's like I would have healed it, and I knew immediately they would just knock that Pokemon out anyway. So it wasn't really worth the time. Then 3 fighting energy is the last bit of it, and this was mainly so that we could start to attach some energy without it being discarded from enhanced hammers. So if we could start with this and then kind of build up to other stuff, it was really great in certain matchups. So there's the list, guys. Feel free to take a screenshot and play with it yourself and see what happens. Like I said, I'm gonna do a video here coming up soon, going over, I think, how I would want the list to be now if I had another chance at it. So we're gonna hop on the ladder real fast and grab just a quick match so we can see how it plays. Okay, so we see a Psychic Dark, so I guess it's probably just a Zoroark list of some sort. Okay, really not a good start at all. If we could top deck three options, Lele, Bridget, or Buzzwole, I'd be happy with any of those. Especially if this is a dark list, which is what it was showing. Not liking this. Gonna click done for now. But yeah, if it is a dark list, then Buzzwole will definitely be advantageous in this list, or in this matchup rather. We'll just have to see what happens. So we see a Nest Ball coming down. And another Eevee. Makes sense. Got Rayquaza, has that Turbo Storm attack where you get to boost some energy. And now he's just frozen. Okay, so he just attaches DC and moves on. So he has a pretty bad start too. We do top deck that E-Hammer though, so that's good. We can at least slow our opponent down a bit. Just do that, and we're gonna click done. Still nothing worthwhile. Oh my goodness. I thought my tournament went bad this weekend. This is going worse. Alright, so he's gonna be able to evolve into Umbreon, which is different. It's not going to be our standard evolution list that we've seen recently, just fine. So if you haven't seen the card in a while, this is kind of what it does. The Shadow Bullet move is essentially the same as what Glaceon has right now. So we do get Buzzwole, which is awesome. We're going to start swinging for some huge numbers against this. What I'm actually going to do... I can hit the active for 80, or I can knock out the Eevee. I think I like that. We'll do that. We'll just take down the Eevee. We'll still hit Umbreon on the bench. But if we can take down the Eevee before it becomes an Umbreon, it'll just make it easier to deal with. And hitting us for 90 is not going to do anything. That strong energy is going to make a big difference. So we're swinging for 40, 60, 60. So 120 against the Umbreon next turn. I'm very, very happy with that. So he is going to hit us for 60, which is fine. We still have 170 left. Ah, and he gets out of there. And he actually has resistance here. We'll attach this. That's fine. I'm going to Field Blower this Choice Band. So I kind of wish I'd held that Guzma. Probably would have been the better option, but that's fine. we're still hitting some solid numbers here, getting things set up. Actually, one more hit on the Umbreon, and if we get it into the active, it's going to be one shot anyway. He's probably going to grab himself another Eevee. I have not seen any Lele so far, or Ultra Ball to get a Lele. So, wondering what the sidekick in the list is. I hope he's not doing like a, what do you call it? Umbreon, Espeon mix. So I could use Absorption GX. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 is 160. I think I am actually going to use Absorption just to get something out here instead of letting him stall stuff. Because now Jet Punch can actually knock out, there's our Bridget. Jet Punch can knock out Umbreon now with 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 160 damage. We'll put him at 220. So it'll knock out Umbreon. So that's why I was okay with using Absorption. I definitely didn't want to use Knuckle Impact because then I couldn't attack this turn, and I don't want that to be an issue. Next turn we're going to use the Bridget, excuse me, and set up some more Buzzwole. I think this matchup definitely warrants just playing straight Buzzwole, and yeah, Garbodor's not going to do much in this matchup because they are of course resistant to Psychic too. So E-Hammer, that's kind of an issue. Ruins our plan of the easy knockout with Jet Punch. We still could just pop him for 120 and just two-shot him from here, but that seems kind of silly since, well, I mean, I guess right now we have to, unless we top deck an energy, which if we do would be great. Now we really need to mess him up. 30, 40, 50, 60. Alright, so we're going to get to one-shot a Rangaroo if he doesn't get him out of the active. Because we do have the Float Stone, of course. And that's what we're going to do. So he's trying to protect himself. Great, we get a Buzzwole. I'm going to shrink up my deck here by getting Bridget out. We're going to grab Buzzwole. We might as well grab the Trubbish. And actually, I probably should have left the bench space open, but that's fine. We have a very commanding lead at this point. So, let's do this. And we'll get to start sniping again. So we get ourselves an Ultra Ball, which, like I said, if we would have left the space open, that would have been great to get a Lele next turn. But like I said, we have such a commanding lead, which is really good considering how slow we started. He's going to get rid of both Fury Belt and Float Stone, I imagine. No reason not to. Okay. So we're still swinging for 100 on this, so 2 more shots and it's done. He gets his own Sycamore. That's an issue for us. So he may be able, I imagine he'll get another Pokemon to set on his bench. If not, though, I mean, I am totally fine with that. We're doing great. Not too concerned. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the stretcher, right? 4, 5, 6, 7 items. So we can hit a decent number with Garb. 120 because of the resistance. So two-shotting stuff could be worse. And what's great is at this point we're swinging for 100, so we're two-shotting the active and we're two-shotting the bench as long as they don't evolve it next turn. And actually, it's probably going to switch out to the bench, maybe, and then Eevee's just knocked out. I'm not sure what the best option here for him would be. Let's see what kind of energy he grabs. If he grabs Psychic to see, yeah, he is. Okay, so he's doing an Umbreon Espeon combo. Have not seen that in a long time. Back when I first started playing, I was actually messing with that, and I realized it was not a good idea. It's not the most consistent because I'm trying to hit 2 different types. Obviously, Professor's Letter helps things a little bit, but now it's just not the best. Yeah, let's just set up Guard. So if for some reason he doesn't get Eevee evolved into Espeon, actually he's going to do that this turn, which would actually help him immensely getting an Espeon out there. Yeah. So he's going to set up Espeon, he's going to hit us this turn for bring us up to 150, and then Espeon will knock us out, which really, really stinks. But if we get a rainbow energy, then Garbodor might actually put in some work. So the combo may actually help this guy out. Oh, an Acerola. That hurts. That really hurts. Alright, but Espeon's not going to take us out now. He is, however, going to confuse us too. So, let's see here. If I top deck a Rainbow Energy, I'm definitely just paying retreat. Oh no, he had Choice Band. Of course, of course. What do I want to do? I know what I want to do. I'm going to use that Ultra Ball, get a Lele for a Sycamore, and we're going to do some digging. Oh, I hate dumping Strong. That's fine. It's Strong, or fighting Pokemon aren't who I want to use right now. Let's see what we got in here. We have Cynthia's. We have all of our draw supporters. We just haven't seen them. We have all of our Rainbow Energies. We just haven't seen them. So good thing we don't have Garbotoxin online yet. We really haven't had the opportunity. Our draws have been atrocious. Atrocious, sorry. Messed up my word there. So, alright, so we get the Sycamore. So what we're going for really is another Garbodor with a Rainbow. And we don't get either one of those suckers. Alright. We'll at least, I'm going to hold on to this. I'll put a Poton out here so he doesn't get his free retreat. We will have to end next turn into 3, which really, really stinks. But that's okay. I figured we'd hit the Rainbow off of that. Could have at least used Acid Spray. It's putting up too much of a fight. I guess he's trying to figure out what he wants to do. Okay, he's going to start setting up for Psychic or Divide. Another Strong Energy. Do I just... I'm definitely not putting Buzzwell out there. What I will do though, I'll Acerola up Trubbish. Put Garbotoxin out there. And we'll end our turn. If we top deck an energy for Buzzwell to attack, we can actually take out Espeon, no problem. Now what could really mess us up is a Guzma here. Okay, but he didn't attach the energy to Espeon, which is interesting. He could have attached it to Espeon and Guzma, or retreated and then Guzma'd up Buzzwell and actually knocked him out. But instead, okay, this is interesting. It's for retreat, so he's gonna hit me for 120. That's not fun. He should not be doing this good. Where's my Guzma? Cynthia. There we go. That's what I need. Floatstone Field Blower. That'd be cool. It's not going to happen. Alright, Floatstone there. That's decent. It's really no abilities. Yeah, I guess in case he gets a Lele. Dump these two for now. Alright, our deck's getting smaller, so eventually we'll hit those Rainbow Energy. We have our Sycamore for next turn. So if we... I'm going to try to hit him. I mean, it's going to hit me for 30. It's not going to knock me out. And he will knock me out. either way, so we might as well start poking him. We'll set up this guy. Sweet, we hit it. So we hit him for 80. Let's see what we're looking at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He could have another max potion. 8, 9. So 9 items, 180 damage. So Garbodor is going to be putting in some work. The one time he's going to put in work after I say he didn't put in much work. We see an energy lotto, for a DCE. What's he going to go for? I doubt he's going to Shadow Bullet. Unless he has, if he has a choice band, he could Shadow Bullet and knock out the active and set something else up. But yeah, that's what he's going to do. Interesting play. Alright, so now we need to just hit our Rainbow Energies and we should be able to take some easy knockouts. Okay, that's not what he's going to do. He's just going to take the knockout now, which is fine. Alright, so now we're going to use Sycamore. That could be relevant eventually. There's the Rainbow. Okay, awesome. There's all of our Rainbow. I'm going to put a Fury Belt on him just to boost him up a bit. Put this here. And we're going to retreat. We're going to take the knockout on the Espeon. And then we'll just be one prize away, which he'll be able to knock out this Garbodor, but that's fine. We have the Rainbow Energy to use our other Garbodor to close things out. Because now he's got 10 items in the discard, if I am correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 220, resistance is 20, so 200. Either way, he's knocked out. And he doesn't know that we drew into 3 of our Rainbow Energies, which was very, very unlikely. So, and he just slapped down a Tauros, which is interesting. I haven't seen that card in a while. Definitely an old school list. I haven't seen, I haven't seen any Lele. I haven't seen any Cynthia. Really, like, nothing new. And there's stuff from Guardians Rising, but no Lele. Very interesting. So let's see what he chooses to do. He's going to leave Umbreon out there, and that's going to close the game for us. And he's definitely getting the well played here, because put in some work for sure. Do this. And that'll do it. All right. Whew. Way too close. But like I said, when you're going up against speedier decks, it can cause you problems. And I'd say Energy Evolution does definitely speed things up. DCEs are definitely much better than single manual attachments. So we're gonna have to tweak this list. And like I said, we'll do another showing of it with the new improvements, and we'll see how it does then. But let me real quick go back to the list. Come on. It's one to update me on my prizes. Cool, thank you. Okay. So let me put this back up on the screen for you. So if you're interested in the list that I took, this was the one I took, and as I mentioned, I'm going to be making tweaks to it. I still, I'm really liking Buzzwell more than I did before, and I think it definitely has a decent spot in the meta right now, but I think a different list would have done much better. So I'm going to be covering some of the lists that did do well at Collinsville, and that way you'll be able to see how the top players did and what list they took with them. So yeah, if you're interested in the list, take it, have fun with it, let me know what you think of it. As usual, be sure to come check us out whenever we put out new videos. I will be putting out quite a few this week, you know, like I said, just updating people on Collinsville and how things went there, and we'll just keep trekking along from there. So guys, as usual, thank you so much for joining me today. Please be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and as usual, if you have not yet subscribed, please do that. Really helps me out. Really appreciate having more of you join me along for this journey. So guys, as usual, I have been Jordan with the Deck Box, where I want to know what's in your box. Have a great day, guys.